Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and remember to like and subscribe. It helps me to help more people just like you. Speaking of helping people, we're going to be answering questions today from YouTube users, which is the mission statement of our channel. Al D posted a question 3 days ago, and that question was posted on our August 18th of 2022 video entitled, "My Boss Perjured Himself, Lied Under Oath, and Got Caught. How can I use this?" All right, and Al D posted, it's a doozy of a question, and we're gonna have to. You're gonna think it's a simple question, but there's actually a lot that goes into it. Okay, Al D posted, "What's your take on an employee having visibly racist tattoos and nothing ever being said or done about it by the bosses?" Okay, so we're gonna throw out some examples because whenever you're dealing with imagery, there's a lot of complexity. All right. There's a lot of overlap in imagery, right? So let's start with the first tattoo. And these are going to be outsized tattoos that are like, you might think people would not necessarily get. And we're doing that just to make things super clear. So let's say you have a coworker, you're going to work. Let's say you're African American, and your coworker just has like Aryan Brotherhood tattooed across his forehead. And as per your question, the employer has done nothing about that. Okay. Clearly, we have a problem, right? I mean, I don't think there's anyone who's going to argue that the Aryan Brotherhood does not espouse a creed of racial hatred and violence. I mean, it's pretty over the top. That's their core ethos, as I understand it. So this person clearly, at some point in their life, perhaps still, is filled with racial animus, racial hate, and felt strongly enough about it to act on it and to tattoo his face, his or her face. Okay, that person should probably be terminated. That person you should make a complaint about, and the employer should take action. And I think if they fail to take action, you have claims. Here's where it's complicated. Let's say you make a complaint, and there's so many ways this gets complicated. This is the first of many ways this gets complicated. All right, so you go and you make a complaint. And the employer goes to Aryan Brotherhood guy with it across his forehead, and the guy says, "Yeah, no, I get it. It was really wrong. I was at a bad place in my life. I was in jail, whatever it was. I don't feel that way anymore, and I'm saving up money to get that taken off. I feel horrible about that, how that makes everyone feel. I don't feel that way about black people. I'm filled with regret. I'm a new person, and I want to be different. I just can't afford to get it taken off my forehead with the lasers. I'm not really up on tattoos. I don't know a lot." Okay. Well, now we got ourselves a bit of a pickle here because the African American in our hypothetical who complained about the Aryan Brotherhood tattoo, I suspect he or she may not believe in this transformation. And I tend to really get where he or she is coming from with their disbelief. On the other hand, there has to be room for people to become better. Otherwise, what are we going to do? We can't. It's not like we can run around executing everyone whoever got a racist tattoo, right? I actually think there's plenty of people who might be down for that, but it would probably not be viable for society as a whole. So there does have to be a path to redemption. And no matter how horrible and hateful that messaging was, and obviously the feelings in that person, the thoughts in that person that led them to stamp that messaging across their forehead, there needs to be some ability to gain forgiveness, to become contrite, change your perspective. And I'm not making excuses for anybody. I will say, like, somebody who's incarcerated and they joined the Aryan Brotherhood to obtain safety in our horrific penal system. I don't think that's okay, but I think that does happen to human beings. And perhaps people are doing things to obtain physical safety and obtain a faction in the corrections system that would fight with them and help protect them. And it's not an excuse for the Aryan Brotherhood tattoo, but I think that is often how those tattoos come about, like proving one of you guys, so like don't let me die in here. So I do not envy this employer in that outcome, right? It's really easy. If the guy with the Aryan Brotherhood tattoo says, yeah, I don't care what you think, I'm keeping my tats, okay, you gotta go. You are out of here. But if he truthfully or even falsely says, I have regrets and I need to get rid of this, it puts the employer in a bit of a situation. And I think my advice to the employer in that scenario would be to say, okay, how much does laser removal cost? And the guy's going to be like, well, it's thousands. And then you're going to say, amazing. All right, here's what we're going to do for you. We're going to do the right thing for African-American employee who's complaining. And for you, simultaneously, we're going to pay for laser removal because this is ruining your life and it's illegally impacting our other employees. You can't be this way. You can't be here this way. So we're going to help you to help yourself. Give us the receipts. We'll pay you for the laser removal. Start tomorrow would be what I would urge them to do if the employee came up with that spiel. And listen, that employee might just be like, oh, no, I'm not getting this removed. Great. Fire, right? Instantly. That's super easy. We're back to simple and easy. Now there's a whole bunch of other imagery of different shades of gray, more subtlety than an Aryan Brotherhood tattoo across your forehead, right? So, trying to think of we'll go with the Celtic cross, which, and I have a very, very limited understanding. Like I've litigated some of these things a few times. The Celtic cross is very similar to the Iron Cross. Now, some people would argue that both of those, or just the Iron Cross, are now biker / racist images, tattoos. Certainly there's Celtic people who would argue that the Celtic cross is a Celtic symbol and has been for a great deal of time. Centuries, as I understand it. Well, what separates a Celtic cross from an Iron Cross? And is an Iron Cross only a racist image? Or is it also an image of bikers? And are bikers necessarily racist? I don't think that they are. I mean, I think Aryan Brotherhood bikers are, but I don't know that all bikers are. I don't have a window into that culture. I've never litigated to find out if all bikers are racist. I suspect all bikers are not racist, but I don't know, right? The only biker I know is Native American. So I suspect not all bikers are racist, or at least I hope, right? Okay, so what do? You go and you make a complaint like, yo, this guy's got a Iron Cross, and I think it's racist, and it makes me uncomfortable. Employer says, okay, we're gonna talk to him. They go to the guy, and his responses, there's gonna be a whole spectrum of his responses. Oh no, it's a Celtic cross. I'm Irish and I'm very proud and religious, and I like to touch upon my Celtic heritage, but not to the exclusion of any other race or creed or protected class, right? Well, that is a clever response. And what does the employer do? They're going to be prone to believing because they don't want to deal with the problem anymore. So they're going to come back and they're going to say, oh, it's not racist. It's a Celtic cross. If I'm litigating that case, I have to go find me an expert. an expert witness, right? Who can testify to the subtle differences between an iron cross and a Celtic cross. And if I'm getting these terminologies wrong or just misunderstanding one of these images, please know that I'm not saying a given image is or isn't racist. I'm trying to give out examples based on a loose understanding of what I know. And basically my point here is like, you would go hire an expert, an imagery expert, to discuss the imagery in terms of what it means, the visual differences that distinguish one from the other. Is it a Celtic cross? Is it an iron cross? Okay, that's how that one plays out. You might litigate that one. The next response from the employee could be, oh, it is not a racist symbol. I'm a biker. I'm in a biker gang. But we're not racist. Okay, well, then I would urge the employer to go to a subject matter expert, hire them, and find out as part of their investigation, is this racist or not? Right? And if the subject matter expert comes back and says racist, just fire the person. Just fire the person. Right? I mean, it's perfectly reasonable. You can't have tattoos in your workplace that put other workers in fear. Right? You can't have open racism and discrimination in the workplace. And then you do get into tattoos that are like questionable. I've seen people have tried to hire us on cases where it's like, oh, my boss has a Latin pride tattoo. Which I would say, okay. And the employee's point is like, well, but he promoted a Latin person. I'm like, okay, sure, but he also promoted like a bunch of Eastern Europeans and some North Africans and some African Americans, and like, I understand he didn't promote you, but the track record's pretty good, right? Like, you would look at context. Do I think that it's awesome that there's a tattoo on your manager that makes you question if race is an issue? No. I think that is unwise and not awesome. But it is not in and of itself unequivocal proof of discrimination, right? You then, it is a data point that you need to investigate from. It's very difficult, right? This stuff is very, very detail oriented. You're drilling down. It's very individualized analyses for each one. And then you get into other imagery, like I've seen situations where people wear like a Hawaiian shirt. And I guess people now say that Hawaiian shirts are the garb of like white supremacists and racists. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true. I've never had to litigate that. But I assure you that there are many people who did not get that memo who just like to wear hideous Hawaiian shirts, right? They're just like, yeah, I love it. It's so airy and I feel zany and fun. And I am not racist at all. So, and I understand it's not a tattoo, but it is imagery, right? And that's something we have to touch on here. Like, images mean different things to different people. Seeing somebody with a Hawaiian shirt on Twitter, to the Twitterati, I mean, I guess it means they're like a hard right terrorist on Twitter. That is the claim I think that people are making. Seeing somebody wearing a Hawaiian shirt on a resort in Hawaii, I suspect it's not secretly a message of hate. I suspect. I think odds are, right? So you would go and you would need to hire an actual expert. You would need to look at context. You need to drill down. You need to figure out what's going on, right? Like if the guy wears a Hawaiian shirt to work every day and posted on his social media about the Boogaloo Boys, which I think are like a far right group that may have which allegedly have ties to white supremacy. I don't know these things. Well, yeah, our context says could be racist, right? There's enough here that we want to go looking for more. We want to drill down, right? If it's just Roy from work and Roy's 400 pounds and we're all pretty sure Roy wears a Hawaiian shirt because he feels uncomfortable in his body, I get that. And it's probably not racist. And I hope Roy's okay, right? And that's how weird and difficult cases based on imagery are. And I don't think you expected this kind of answer. So, like, let me be clear. Obviously, racist tattoos, employers should terminate or get rid of it, right? Path to redemption. But, otherwise, just terminate. That's simple. But there are so many images where I have questions. And I'm not so, I just have questions, right? And we need to do an in-depth analysis, and we need to, drill down, because there's nothing wrong with someone liking their heritage, right? That's something I want for people. That would be nice if everyone liked their heritage in a casual way that doesn't have exclusionary impulses, right? I don't really have a heritage, but or at least not one that I'm aware of or care about. But I'm trying to think if somebody's just I love being from North Africa. I just love it. I'm Nigerian. I'm a proud Nigerian, right? Just drilling down, right? And I'm thinking of some athletes that I know, some UFC fighters who are very, very proud about their heritage in that way. That is a beautiful thing. And if they have tattoos to that effect, which I believe they do, that's awesome. As long as it's not exclusionary. I love my culture. Isn't the same as, but I don't like yours. And we got to look at that. By the same token, race and protected class based tattoos do have a tendency to raise questions in your direct reports. The people beneath you who you make decisions about are going to look at some of those tattoos and say, I don't know if this person likes me. So it's a very difficult thing in the workplace. Aldi, I hope I did your question justice. I'm sorry that I word vomited with a whole bunch of different examples. I hope this was a valuable discussion. If it's not, I can do it again. I'll check the comments on the video. I can be better. I can be better, Aldi. Yeah. Yeah. Have a good one, everybody. Like and subscribe.